Welcome to Gentle Restorative. I'm Sandra, and if you have some yoga props, have them nearby. If you don't, you're all good. We'll make do. But I do want you to start out by taking a seated pose that makes you happy and closing your eyes. We're going to take a deep breath in and let it go. And then take another deep inhale. Hold the breath. You got this. Keep holding. Okay, big exhale. And just kind of let the lungs resettle. So we are going to work on some pranayama this evening because I was thinking that one of the best tools that I can offer, especially to someone who's new to yoga, is how to deepen the breath, because the further down in the lungs you can breathe, the stronger your lungs are, the better chances you have if you do contract a certain word that I don't put out there. So I thought we'd work on strengthening the lungs. So go ahead, take another deep breath in, hold it, cleansing exhale. Now take the arms all the way up. Bring the palms together and release them back home to your heart in prayer pose. Tonight, let's chant Om, shall we? We'll chant Om, each of us, 5 times. You can count it on your fingers if you want. So take a deep breath in. Last one. And set your intention for your practice. When you're done, go ahead and release your hands. And just keeping the eyes closed, sit up nice and tall. We're going to work on 3-part breathing because that is the pranayama that's really going to help us control the lower lungs and the breath getting there. But then we're also going to add on breath retention. So you inhale into the abdomen first, so let the stomach poof forward. Inhale into the midribs, all the way up into the chest. You might even feel that breath come up into the head space. And then I want you to hold the breath. I don't know how long, it's up to you. And then exhale from the chest all the way back down to the abdomen. All right, here we go, when you're ready. Keep going. So I really want you to be conscious of really trying to use the full lung space, but then when you get to holding the breath, just feeling how much you filled the lungs up with air. That exhale should be really peaceful. Also, at the very end of that exhale, make sure you feel the stomach pulling in, belly button tucking in toward the base of the spine. Let's do one more cycle of that. Just let the breath return to normal. Right after that last exhale, you just kind of feel the lungs naturally grabbing on to the breath. So that is a good exercise to practice every day. All right, let's take the arms up. Exhale the right arm down. We'll take a side bend to the right. You decide how deep you're going. Watch that top shoulder. Pull it back. So I started a project earlier today. I decided to paint this, I don't know, cabinet tower thing that's in my kid's bathroom. And go ahead, come back up. Switch the arms. It has this cabinet door on the front. Take your side bend. That has tinted, or, well, not tinted, opaque glass. So you can't see through it. And, you know, I didn't tape out the glass because I have all the time in the world to paint slowly, you know, so I did get a little bit of paint on the glass. And I went back to take it off. Inhale that arm up and release it down. Take the hands, rest them on the knees, round out the spine. So my hands must have been wet at the time, and so I put my hand on the inside of that glass, and it kind of left a handprint mark, and I thought, oh my gosh, I thought the glass was opaque. Maybe it's just super dusty on the inside, which is pretty gross, right? Go ahead, sit up tall. Big inhale. Hold it right here. Take the shoulders up and back and down. Nice. I'll leave you hanging on my story for a second. Go ahead and stretch that right leg forward. Janu Shirshasana. That left foot's tucked in. Pull that right hip back. Front foot is flexed. So we're just going to plant the fingers on the ground. Hinge forward into your fold. Take it slowly. Let the hands walk you into it. You might take a breather, pop back up. So I got a washcloth and I washed off the inside of that piece of glass. When that glass is wet, you can totally see through it. But as it re-dried, it became opaque again. And so I was thinking about how we ourselves have that filter. How we don't allow everybody to see in to who we really are. We, allow that tint to stay there. And I was thinking about, what does that tinting represent? So I want you to think about it. We're going to come back to that idea. Go ahead and make your way back up and switch legs. Don't forget to pull the left hip back. Hands out in front of you. Hinge forward as you come into your fold. So I was thinking when the glass was wet, it afforded me a glimpse into what would have been hidden behind that cabinet door, right? So what I had found there, since it's not my bathroom and not my cabinet, before I moved it was bottles and bottles of sweet smelling lotion like lavender. There was pumpkin and, citrus. And then there were bottles of shampoo waiting to be opened. And then there were soaps I had picked up, at a craft fair, and they all smelled fabulous. And I was thinking how all of those represent beauty that we each have inside that we sometimes aren't willing to share Take a deep breath here. And come on back up. Stretch out the right leg. Just walk the legs out a little bit. And then take both arms up. Let's find this fold right here. You can use your strap if you want to. And then slowly make your way back up. So we are going to use a strap if you have one. If you do not have a strap, I will give you options along the way. But if you do happen to have one, will you go ahead and put a loop in it? And so if you've just bought a brand new yoga strap, it's kind of just like a belt buckle. The flat end goes through both loops, comes over one and then under the next. Perfect. And then I have it nice and big. I'm going to go ahead and put it right over my head, get it underneath my arms, and lay all the way back. Oh, this is going to feel good. Now, if you don't have a strap, obviously skip all that part. I have an option for you in a second. All we're going to do here is straighten out the left leg. Draw that right knee in towards you. I want to get the right shin in that strap as well. And then I'm going to start tightening. All right, so you're pulling it as tightly as is comfortable for that right leg to be hugged in. And then you should be able to just completely let go. That strap's holding the leg in place. This is a peaceful place to be. If you do not have a strap, you're going to interlace your fingers on top of the shin and just hold the leg in place. So as you close your eyes here, let's take the focus back to the breath. Visualize filling up the lungs, and if it helps to give the air you're breathing in a color so that you can imagine whatever you choose. Pink air coming into the lungs, going all the way down to the bottom of them, right? You might visualize, if you feel like practicing on your breath retention, as you hold the breath, maybe the color intensifies or it starts swirling around or just gets really pretty. I want you to feel the shoulders softening here. Breathing deeply. So kind of where this theme is tying into our external world is I kind of fear in this lockdown for the people who are either in victim mode or who are finding that the only way they can handle this is by turning to maybe drinking more or smoking more. And that's just a Band-Aid. And so that is what makes me worry for that type of person. How it ties into the yoga theme is I feel like those might be the people holding things in. Just get through this, let's not talk about it. And in not talking about things, that's the opaque piece of glass in front of them. Not letting somebody see in. But here's the problem. If you can't see in because I put up this fabulous shield, I can't see out, right? All right, slow, deep inhale. Hold the breath. And let it go. I'm going to slide the strap forward so I can get it off of my right leg. Interlace the fingers behind the right thigh. Take that leg up to the ceiling. So remember, we're gently pushing the back of the left leg down. If this is too much of a hamstring stretch, bend the left leg. Make it a little easier. Let's draw that right leg in a little bit more. Perfect. Okay, rebend that leg. Slowly stretch it out the duration of your mat. We're going to draw the left knee in. You might need to re-loosen your strap to get that one in, or maybe you can finagle that strap over the leg. And again, if you don't have a strap, just interlace the fingers on top of the shin and close your eyes. Painting that cabinet and seeing how you could see through the glass when it got wet, but then you couldn't when it dried, it made me think of this time I had been on a very rocky, pebbly beach in Michigan, and I had picked up a whole bunch of really pretty rocks right near the water's edge. And so I took them back with me and laid them out to dry. And when I came back to check on them, they all looked the same. There were no markings, they were all dull. But the moment that I re-wet them, you could see them each coming back to life. They had their own characteristics, they had their own markings, and I just think that the more we can tap into the inner self during this time, which is hard because we're not used to it and we tend to avoid it, but that at the same time allow other people in, I think we come out in a whole new place. We break habits. That is my goal. I mean, I think that's my hope, that we are going to come out in this really amazing place, having learned a whole bunch of lessons about ourselves. So let's take another slow, deep breath in. Hold it. Okay, let it go. We're really going to work on the lungs tonight. Go ahead, slide that strap off towards you. Send the left leg up to the ceiling. And if it's possible, draw the leg in just a tad closer. We'll rebend that left leg and stretch it out. Just pause here a moment. Let the hands rest on the abdomen. Close your eyes. Just notice if you naturally want to take a couple of deep breaths here, or were you just like, oh, this feels like Shavasana, and you just let the breath soften. We're going to pull that right knee back in. Don't worry about the strap. It's fine where it is. And then you can either, if you have room, open the arms out wide from the shoulders, take them to scarecrow. You could leave the left hand on the right knee. You could take the right arm reaching up above you, but whatever you choose with the arms, we are taking a supine twist to the left, and we do want to keep the right shoulder and shoulder blade down on the floor. In this bathroom tower, there was also a drawer that I didn't bother to clean out or go through, except to notice that there was a pair of really old glasses in there, and they were covered in dry water spots. Sorry if I'm flooding you with a bunch of analogies, but if you were to put on that pair of glasses, right, you wouldn't be able to see very well. And so I think another great idea to keep in mind about this whole lockdown situation is I'm not asking everybody or suggesting that we have rose-colored glasses. We're going to struggle and we're going to go through different things, but I am suggesting and asking that you at least clean off the pair you're wearing. Let's just look at things as they are. Being in victim mode is not going to help you. It'll be of zero service. It's going to be added baggage that you carry. Go ahead, bring the knee back up. Slowly straighten that leg down the mat. When you're ready, left knee is coming in. You decide where the arms are going and take your twist to the right. Noticing if your left shoulder is down. Also taking time to notice here the breath, because the breath is different when you're in a twist. It's going to feel constricted in one of the lungs, and the other one should feel, vast, more open. And then let's come back to center. Stretch the left leg back out on the mat. I'm going to loosen up this strap a bit. You can undo the loop completely if you want to, but we're going to end up putting it back. So if you can get it loose enough that you can wiggle your way out of it, that's fine too. And so regardless, if you have a loop or you've separated, the strap, we're going to get the strap around the ball of the right foot, send that leg up, and then grab the other end of the strap. So it might be two ends, right? Or you've got the loop. And as I grab it, I'm going to reach my arms overhead. So I'm gently pulling that leg towards me. If you need to loosen up on the strap, go ahead. If you need the strap to be longer because this leg is saying, I do not think so, if you make your loop smaller, you'll have more of a tail, to hang on to. So as the arms reach and they're pulling on that strap and you're feeling this fabulous hamstring stretch, keep that left leg active, the foot's flexed, push down, don't lock the knee. Keeping your focus on the stretch you're feeling. If you notice it loosening up, you might choke up on the strap, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch. Each time the leg loosens up, drawing it in a little bit more. Okay, empty out the lungs. Slow, deep inhale. Start at the abdomen. Hold the breath. Big exhale. And gently bend that right leg, bringing the arms back in front of you and freeing that right foot. Just stretch it out for a moment. Close your eyes. How does that right leg feel? Mine feel vastly different. So it's almost as though the right leg cleaned off its glasses. It can see clearly. The left leg isn't sure what's coming yet. So go ahead and bring that left knee in. Get the strap around the bottom of the left foot, however you're using that strap. And then grabbing the strap with both hands and then taking the arm straight overhead behind you. We'll start drawing the left leg in. So if you need to choke up on that strap, go ahead. Remember, the right leg is active. Each time you feel the hamstring loosen, choke up on the strap. Empty out the lungs. Fill them up slowly. Hold the breath and let it go. Gently bend that left leg. Bring the arms back in front of you. Free the left foot. Straighten out the left leg. Hands to the abdomen. Close your eyes. And then go ahead and rebend the legs. Roll to a side in a fetal position. And when you're ready, slowly push your way back up. We're coming to table, hands and knees. Give you a second to get there. When you're ready, we're going to inhale cow, sink the belly, lift the chin and chest. Exhale cat, round it out. Inhale cow. And exhale cat. Come back to a neutral spine. If you have wrist issues, I want you to be conscious of that. I was going to say be wary, but that's not really the right word. I don't want to put that kind of energy out there. But what I'd like you to do, if it works for you, is take the right hand, turn the fingers to the right, and then do the same thing with the left hand. So my left fingers are facing left, my right fingers are facing right. Deep breath in. Let it go. If it's still okay with you, take the fingers on the right hand and turn them to face your knee. Same thing with the left hand. You should feel this. If you're feeling it too much, take the knees forward. That'll loosen things up. If you are not feeling it enough, you could start to draw the hips back a teeny bit. Deep inhale. Exhale. Good job. So very carefully, I'm going to pick up my right hand. I'm going to flip it over. My fingers are still facing my knee, but I've got the back of the hand resting on the mat. That should feel pretty darn good. And then go ahead and rotate that right wrist a moment and then set it back down. We need it to support us here so that we can do the same thing with the left hand. Flip the hand over, fingers facing the knee. Pick up that left hand, rotate the wrist. Perfect. Set it back down. The wrist might be a little tired now, so I think what we should do to alleviate that is come forward into modified plank, release down in our mini chaturanga, and then come into gecko. So we give the wrist a break. Right knee slides out to your side, left hand is a pillow for your head, right arm is in the scarecrow. Remember, this is a hip opener, so you want to try, you can even put your right hand on your right hip. Try to push that hip down. You'll feel the right leg slide out away from you a little bit more. If it's too much, draw that foot back down a little bit so that you're not at 90 degrees in the knee and the hip. So while you hang out right there, I know I have a lot of great Buddha and Zen stories that I love, but really, when it comes down to it, two are my ultimate favorites. And this is one of them. It's the one about two monks who are walking and they come to this river, and there's a young girl standing at the river and she can't cross on her own. And so the older monk goes and he scoops her up and he carries her across and he sets her down. The two monks continue walking, and when they get to where they were headed, the younger one finally says, "How on earth did you pick that girl up when we as monks are not allowed to touch a woman?" And the older monk says, "I set her down on the other side of the river. It's you that is still carrying her." And I thought of that with this theme because the baggage, that weight, can you just picture what that young monk was thinking for the whole walk? You know, his mind just going crazy, like, wait, what just happened? How do I bring this up? Did that really occur? Right? You can almost just see his wheels spinning. That's his baggage. That's the dried water spots on the glasses. That's the opaque tint to the glass. That is our shield. And so that is how that story applied, because if we just let it all go and we decide to look at life and what is going on and occurring as it actually is, without adding opinion and perspective, which are those little dried water spots, just look at it for what it is, then there's less suffering. Does that make sense? The young monk was suffering that whole walk. The older monk, there was no suffering. He put her down and it was gone. It was out of his mind. That's what we need to do. Go ahead and straighten out that right leg. Switch gecko to the other side of the body. I almost hate to start my next sentence this way, but the other thing I was thinking, see, I do have a lot of time on my hands, apparently. I was thinking about, what if our aura looked murky like the tinted glass? Think about that for a second. If you could see your aura and it wasn't all the pretty colors of the chakras or the rainbow, it had this grayness to it. What kind of energy message do you suppose people are receiving from you? And even in picturing that, picturing yourself with this grayness around you, doesn't that feel heavy? It feels cumbersome, depressing. Like, I don't even want that vision in my head. I want the rainbow colors. And then coincidentally, you know, in our part of the world here, in Illinois, we just had a storm go through. And storms, water, rain, are symbolic of renewal and change. If we are not in a period of change, I do not know what we're in. And so when those rains come, we need to embrace them. Except for all you dog owners like me who have dogs who can't stand the rain. It's a little more stressful for us then, but to symbolically allow that rain to clear things away. And so if you could just for a moment picture yourself again with that gray aura, letting the reins gently come down and move the grayness to reveal all the beautiful colors that I know you own. Don't you want everyone else to see those too? Take a deep breath in. As you let go of the breath, straighten out the left side of the body. From here, let's go ahead and find Cobra, Bhujangasana. Allow Cobra to be where you need it to be. Just remember, we are not locking the arms. The shoulders are not holding up the head. The neck is long. Ears are pulling back. And as well, the elbows are tucked into the ribs. They're not out wide. Perfect. From here, let's go ahead and push the hands into the mat. Pull the hips back. Let's find table again. And shifting the weight into the left leg, the right knee is leaving the ground. It's coming forward, so we're going to make a forward circle. Open up that hip and knee, and then pull the knee back through underneath you. So big circle. Of course, if you have hip issues, this be a little circle, right? We don't need to push it. And then if you're up for some fun and games, I thought what we would do is the next time that knee is coming up and around, I'm going to drop the right knee and the right shin on the other side of my left leg. Oop, I just ran into a prop. I'm going to set that leg down so my legs are crossed. Option A, stay right here. Option B, perhaps we take the right arm all the way up to the ceiling. We can breathe here, right? Big inhale, lengthen it up. Exhale, bring the right hand back down and uncross the legs. Wiggle it out a little bit. Inhale, find your cow. Exhale, cat. Come back to table. So same thing, we're just shifting the weight into the right leg. Bring the left knee off the ground forward, up and around, and then it comes back underneath you. Linking this with the breath. Don't forget the breath. We're all about that tonight. Okay, the next time that leg comes around, the left knee and shin are coming down on the outside of the right leg. And then you might choose to stay here or see if you can get that left arm to reach up to the sky. Big inhale. Exhale, bring the hand down. Uncross the legs. Push back into embryo. If you need a prop for embryo to rest your forehead on, go ahead and grab something. Now in embryo, I'm assuming you probably have already closed your eyes, so keep them closed. I want you to feel, like we've talked about this before in child's pose, how, hovering in around the heart chakra like that feels like honoring the inner self. And I want you to also feel the back space. It's rounding, it's protecting you, kind of like an umbrella. And so I want you to visualize the most beautiful, gentle sprinkle of rain coming down upon your back and just rolling off. And I want you to notice that it feels cool, refreshing, cleansing. In fact, it can feel whatever you need it to feel. So just sit with that for a moment. When you're ready, you'll sweep your arms forward to push your way back up. We're coming back onto our sit bones on the mat. Grab whatever props you have nearby. You won't need the strap this time, but if you have a bolster, great. If you have a couch cushion or a pillow or a throw pillow, blankets, whatever you got going on, let's just grab it. We might need to build a tower, so you never know. We're going to take that right leg forward like we had it before in Janu Shirshasana and pull that left foot in. I want to bring my biggest prop in front of me to the inside of that right leg. This is what we're building up on. So if you have blocks, fine. If you got a cat to pop there, that's fine too. Dog doesn't mind being laid on. Make this as tall as you need it to be. We're coming down into a fold, and I want you to be happy. So you could also prop your bolster or pillow in a different way. If this is just not happening, I could prop up the end closest to me. That gives me a lot of room to just fold over the front edge. Play around, get creative. And if you liked that rain visualization, bring it back. Just kind of hearing the water gently falling around you. Maybe this time it doesn't land on you. Maybe you're not getting wet. Maybe it's cleansing your aura and you are seeing those beautiful colors emerge. This is not a time to consciously throw off the throat chakra. I'm going to have to explain that, I think. This is not a time to force all of your emotions down, to not communicate, to go in a shell. You're just going to throw off your chakras. You're going to throw off the throat chakra for certain. And so I want you to express those colors. And truly, I think the only way we can do that is to let people in. You are going to have to clear off that glass. That doesn't mean every day is sunshiny and perfect. But I do think they're going to be a whole lot better. I also think you're probably going to find out that you're not the only one experiencing what you think you might be experiencing, or you might think you're the only one. And then we have our fabulous yoga tools to help us lift the spirit, right? You've got a pranayama to work on. Let's take one more breath here. And then just use your hands to push you up. I'm going to move my props away so I can switch legs. Tuck that left foot in. Props out in front of you to the inside of the left leg. I think I said tuck the right leg in. I hope so. Anyway, you knew what I meant. Come on down. And just kind of noticing if the mind has stayed calm, just like the pose. Has it wandered off? Is the mind thinking about, well, what are those dried water drops for me? Take a few more breaths on this side. And when you're ready, again, use your hands to push your way up. I'm going to just set my props off to the side for a moment. Come into whatever seated pose makes you happy. Close your eyes. And just taking the focus into the lungs without even changing the breath. Do they feel different? Do they feel more expansive? Do they feel like they've gotten a good stretch as well? When you're ready, inhale the arms up. Bring the palms together and exhale them to your heart. Let the head bow. And then release the hands. So again, if you have a strap, we're going to pull it back out. If you don't, I will help you out along the way. We do need to put a loop back in that strap. You also might find too, if your strap is too short for what we're going to do next, then you can just follow one of the other variations I have for you. So I'm going to put that strap over my body again. I want to keep this buckle out in front of me, and especially whichever way the tail is facing, I really want it way out so we can tighten and not have this get all caught up. So go ahead and bring that strap up high behind the shoulder blades and lay all the way back down. If you don't have a strap, we're kind of heading into a supported legs up the wall. You could, if you want to, I'm assuming you're in a room that has a wall nearby, you could actually go into legs up the wall, which I'll show you in a second. Or if you have a blanket, we could find its longest edge and we could use that as our strap over the feet as well. If you have none of that around you, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out when we get all the way down here, right? Okay, so I have that strap tucked behind my shoulder blades. I'm pulling both knees in towards me, and I'm going to get that strap around both feet. And I want to straighten the legs up to the ceiling. I gently tightened my strap so that I really feel the tension on this. It's pulling into my shoulders a little, which is good because I don't have to work to hold my legs here. So I leave you here if you have a strap. If you do not have a strap, but you have a blanket, same thing. We'll get the blanket over the feet and we'll just hang on to the edges of the blanket, not with the arms reaching all the way up, but allowing the backs of the arms to rest peacefully on the floor. And then that other option was if you are near a wall, you could go into legs up the wall, which is bringing one hip as close to the wall as you can. And then I'm going to get on my elbows, sweep my legs up the wall, and you want your sit bones as close to the baseboard as you can get them. So that would be another option as well. All right, wherever you're at, with the eyes closed, want you to use the exhales to soften the body, because you should not have to be working here. You might be working a little if you're using the blanket, but how much can you relax the spine? Do you feel the ribs settling towards the mat? Allow the arms to be heavy. Each exhale, bringing in relaxation. Each inhale is clearing away the cobwebs, so to speak. I kind of am seeing the cobwebs as that tint on the glass. So use the inhale to clear things away. Like a beautiful breeze sweeping in after that rain we experienced, right? What is no longer serving you? What have you chosen to carry around with you that is just bringing you down, right? Pema Chodron recently said, if you're feeling scared, that's okay, but know that that's the energy you're putting out into the universe. And does the universe need more fear? Right? And so just having this acknowledgement about what it is we're holding in. And are we willing and ready to let it go? Do we trust that there are people around us who will support us, who will listen, validate our experience, right? That's what we all want. And then we just be. Allow each day to unfold as it unfolds. And paying attention to what your body is telling you is equally as important. Let's take one more breath here. I don't want to stay here too long. Technically, this is an inversion, and we don't want blood just rushing to our head for too long of a period. So let's take a deep breath here. Let it go. So we'll slowly start to rebend the knees. That will loosen the strap. If you're using the blanket, set it aside. Go ahead, hug the knees and let the strap drop. If you're in legs up the wall, you can just hug the knees right into your heart as well. Your feet will be on the wall. And then if you are, or you were in legs up the wall, come back to your mat. I want you to have plenty of room. Allowing each hand to rest on each knee. Creating a vinyasa here. Inhale, straighten out the arms as the knees push into the hands. Exhale, hands pull the knees back towards the heart. Keep going. One more time. Release the legs, let the feet come down to the mat. Stretch out one leg, you choose. Then add the other. Tuck the shoulder blades underneath you. Open the legs to the width of the mat. I have too many props down there, but hopefully you can have more room to move yours aside. And then go ahead and add whatever props you want to Shavasana. You might choose to grab that blanket and cover up with it. You might use it as a pillow, whatever you can imagine. Go ahead and start bringing your props in. and getting settled in your space. As you find yourself, working towards that ultra comfortable place, closing the eyes, I want you to do a scan through your body. Just notice sensations, notice whatever you need to notice. What I meant earlier by listening to the body, it's very similar to not communicating and holding stuff back and keeping that dirty glass up and not letting people in. If you yourself are being blinded by the opaque glass, where you cannot get to your inner self as well, you cannot hear, sense, feel, even notice or acknowledge signals that your body is giving you to tell you something is off. I was teaching a vinyasa yesterday that's already up on YouTube, and halfway through I stop in the middle of a pose because I have an ankle that's swollen, I have a wrist that's acting up, and you have to know when to back off and practice ahimsa. What the right ankle and right wrist are telling me personally is that I have to get to a space to relinquish control. Whatever that control is over, that's the masculine side of the body. It's saying, listen, enough's enough. I need you to back off. I need you to just be. And if you are looking at yourself through those dry water speckled glasses, you aren't able to see what your own body is telling you. And so I know Shavasana is hard for some people, especially if you're brand new to yoga, but this is the time for you to really tap in to what is going on. Does the body not want to lie still? Why? Is it the whole body? Or is it just part of it? Where is your mind taking you? Initially in Shavasana, it might not want to settle in, but you can get there. I know you can. And if it's a reoccurring thought, can we either come back to it, or does it really need to be addressed right now? Like, what is it? What does it pertain to? Remember, imbalances in the energy body are going to manifest into something physical. So like my wrist and my ankle, apparently I wasn't paying attention. And we all do that. But I need you to visualize getting out this really soft chamois of a cloth and cleaning those glasses off so that you are the truest you can be to yourself. eyes closed, staying in Shavasana. I just thought I'd add my Koshi chimes. Koshi chimes are inspired by the elements, and they're used in meditation and relaxation. But I kind of think they sound like a gentle falling rain. What do you think? Take a deep breath in. Let it go slowly through pursed lips. Bring some movement back into the hands and the feet. And then slowly hug one knee in and then the other. Rock it out from side to side. And then set the feet back down. Stretch the legs out on the mat. Take the arms overhead. Big stretch. Huge breath. Hold that breath. And let it go. Soften the body. And from where you are, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Bring the palms together and release the hands back home to the heart. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when I'm in that place in me and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.